When I say los, you're gonna say dichos. Ready? Los
Dichos!
Los.
Dichos!
Good day, Rocket Ship staff. Welcome to our virtual Los Dichos orientation. My name is Lorena Romero, and I co-lead the Los Dichos program with my colleague, Les Smith. We are your Los Dichos lead site coordinators at Rocket Ship Public Schools. The Los Dichos program is Rocket Ship's premier school-based reading program where family members and teachers come together once a month to co-read bilingual children's books and co-lead hands-on activities in their child's classroom. This year will be our 8th year with the Los Dichos program at Rocket Ship Public Schools, and we are very excited to get started. Thank you, Rocket Ship staff, for taking the time to watch this presentation on your Los Dichos program today. We are very thankful for your partnership.
Last year, we served 18 out of 19 schools in the RPS network, and we are proud to report that we had 3,254 volunteers participate in the Los Dichos program between October 2020 through April 2021. What an incredible accomplishment given the unprecedented year that we had. To the school site leaders and staff who uploaded their Los Dichos lessons onto Seesaw, facilitated monthly discussions, and recruited family members to participate in your Los Dichos program in a distance learning setting, we give you an enormous shout out. Whoop, 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 whoop. Thank you all so very much.
Since March of 2020, the Los Dichos program has been operating virtually through the distance learning model. For the first 4 lessons of this 2021 school year, from October 2021 through February 2022, we will continue to operate virtually to grant our schools ample time to adjust to being back in person with our Rocketeers, as well as to safeguard the health of our students, staff, and families by staggering a return to in-person model. We know and have heard your feedback that the magic of Los Dichos happens when families, teachers, and students come together to participate in this dynamic learning experience. We look forward to addressing this topic of returning in person for the months of March and April at the end of our orientation. In the meantime, the 3 key components of our training today are: first, why Los Dichos is important. Second, what is Los Dichos? And third, what Los Dichos will look like at your school.
First, why Los Dichos is important. The number 1 reason why Los Dichos is important is parent power. Positive parent partnerships lead to higher student achievement. The vision of Rocket Ship Public Schools is to eliminate the achievement gap in our lifetime. High student achievement is the primary common goal of all Rocket Ship employees. And Rocket Ship Public Schools has been very intentional to cite the value of positive parent partnerships in the mission statement and has listed parent power as one of the 3 pillars that makes Rocket Ship a network of transformational public schools. Without positive parent partnerships, the opportunity for students to maximize their achievement potential is diminished. The second reason why Los Dichos is important is that it practices anti-racism through inclusion. While many schools and institutions throughout the United States close the door on our parents and families of color, withholding them from active participation in their child's education or business operations, Rocket Ship Public Schools leverages the Los Dichos program as a platform to intentionally invite and include the voices, languages, cultures, traditions, history, and accomplishments of our parents and families. In this way, Rocketship recognizes and affirms the role of the parent as the first and forever teacher in the lives of each of our students. Thank you, Rocketship staff, for carrying out this tradition of welcoming and engaging the families of all our Rocketship students through your Los Dichos program. While the benefits of partnering family members with teachers through the Los Dichos program are numerous, the one benefit our families cite the most are the pride and joy their Rocketeers feel when their own parents and families are in the classrooms.
At this time, I want you to take a minute and think of your own experience growing up. Was your parent or parents actively engaged in your education? Did the schools you attend foster a welcoming environment for your family to participate? How would it have been different for you if they were more engaged or less engaged in your education? And what will it look like to partner with the parents and families of your Rocketship students this school year?
Next, what is Los Dichos? Los Dichos is literally translated as the sayings. Every lesson has a dicho, which contains a value or special message to share with your Rocketeers. Los Dichos is a school-based program that began during the 2004-2005 school year when 4 Spanish-speaking mothers stepped forward to pilot an idea about honoring and acknowledging the language, traditions, and culture of the Latinx community. They did so by reading bilingual children's books and leading hands-on activities in their child's classroom in partnership with the homeroom teacher. The YMCA of Silicon Valley and Project Cornerstone picked up on the success of these 4 pioneering women, recruited them, and built the program Los Dichos to share with the greater community. Since Rocketship's inception in 2007, Rocketship has embraced the Los Dichos program and the value that families bring to the classroom when they partner up with Rocketship teachers. Over time, Los Dichos at Rocketship has evolved to incorporate children's stories from the African American and Vietnamese communities, in addition to the Latinx community, to reflect the cultures of the families that we serve. And we anticipate further inclusion of other ethnicities moving forward. Finally, the books illustrate valuable lessons on the topic of anti-racism, inclusion, cultural pride, respect, healthy decision-making, goal setting, self-esteem, and friendship. Fun fact, our very first book is going to touch on 3 important topics: anti-racism, inclusion, and positive self-identity. And would you guess that the 3 individuals responsible for creating our very first book include 2 authors and 1 illustrator who are members of the Rocketship Public Schools community. 2 are parents of a Rocketeer, and 2 are staff members. We are so excited to showcase this author and illustrator trio out of Nashville, Tennessee, this coming October. The title of the book is When You Arrive, a children's book about racism. Can you guess the names of the 3 individuals responsible for creating this amazing book? Hint, look closely at the books on this slide. The names are hiding in plain sight. Did you find the names? If not, no problem. We will revisit their names a little later.
Next up, what Los Dichos will look like at my school. Historically, volunteer readers were invited into school once a month for an hour and 45 minutes each session to train, read a book, and do an hands-on activity inside of the classroom with the Rocketers and humanity teachers. Every volunteer reader earned 2 hours for their participation. Volunteers included, but were not limited to mom, dad, older siblings, younger siblings, grandparents, guardians, uncles, aunts, etc. The criterion for success was 2 to 4 readers per class per reading. Teachers created a warm and welcoming environment for their volunteers, and staff work as a team with their families to co-read and co-lead the prepared lessons and activities. We are looking forward to returning to this in-person model this coming March of 2022. But in the meantime, this is what the program will look like through the distance learning platform from October 2021 to February 2022.
Starting with the Los Dichos goal, our goal for this year is for 75% of students and families in each cohort to complete the monthly Los Dichos activity on Seesaw. In order to make this happen, we need teachers to assign the activity to all students in Seesaw and then complete the monthly Los Dichos 30-minute classroom discussion at the end of each Los Dichos lesson. Here is a closer look at the Los Dichos program logistics. We will break down each component in hopes to best prepare you for a successful execution of your Los Dichos program. First, the Los Dichos lesson. Each lesson will include a read aloud video and an activity video with slides attached that offer questions for discussion and space for recorded student family responses. The lessons are to be made accessible to our Rocketeers through Seesaw. The lessons are designed and packaged to be completed at home with the families over a period of 5 days, starting on a Saturday and ending on a Wednesday. The lessons will close out on the 6th day in the form of a 30-minute classroom discussion. For those who wish to elevate your Los Dichos experience, for example, by hosting a live read aloud with families in your classroom through Zoom, we welcome and encourage your creativity. Second, the release of the Los Dichos lesson. We heard your feedback from last year, and this year we'll make the lessons available 1 week prior to the launch date. Lessons will be made available in the Seesaw District Library and distributed to school leaders through School Leader Central. Third, the launch of the Los Dichos lesson. The humanities teachers or any participating staff will post the Los Dichos lesson 1 Friday per month on Seesaw for the students to watch and complete with a family member, guardian, or caring adult at a time that is convenient for them, starting on that Saturday that the lesson is launched through the following Wednesday. Fourth is the classroom discussion. Once the students have had an opportunity to listen to the read aloud, respond to the discussion question, and complete the activity with their family member, the humanities teachers or participating staff will designate 30 minutes on that Thursday to facilitate their own class discussion, where the students will be encouraged to share their responses to the discussion, questions, and activities completed with their family members. Fifth is parent and family engagement. Generating excitement around your Los Dichos program is a critical step for engaging your students and families. Teachers, please promote Los Dichos to your students, parents, and families repeatedly via text messages, Facebook, phone calls, or other methods of your choice, 1 to 2 weeks prior to releasing the lesson on Seesaw to inspire student and parent participation at home. Please note that the Los Dichos team will be supporting with this 5th step around parent and family engagement in 2 ways. First, by generating an electronic flyer that is translated into 3 languages to help with the promotion of your Los Dichos program. This electronic flyer can be found on the Los Dichos Master Guide. And secondly, by supporting student access on Seesaw. Each month, Rocketeers will receive a notice of the upcoming Los Dichos lesson in Clever with instructions to go to Seesaw to participate in the lesson. Finally, our 6th component is tracking parent partnership hours. Within 2 weeks of holding the Los Dichos classroom discussion, we ask that the humanities teacher or any additional participating staff record the names of each student who submitted a completed Los Dichos lesson on Seesaw by putting a check next to the student's name that corresponds with the month that the lesson was completed on your Los Dichos parent partnership tracker. To check for a completed lesson, open up the Seesaw activities within your classroom cohorts and look for submitted lessons. The Los Dichos team will generate and share a Los Dichos tracker for each campus. If your campus wishes to use your own tracker generated by your school's administration, please share your tracker with us at lromero@rsed.org. That's LROMERO@rsed.org. Finally, please grant 2 parent partnership hours to each household that completes their Los Dichos lesson on Seesaw. Altogether, there are a total of 6 lessons over 6 months. The first lesson will take place during the month of October 2021, and the last will take place during the month of April 2022. Please note that Nashville and DC will not have Los Dichos during the month of November, whereas California and Milwaukee will not have Los Dichos during the month of December. Please refer to the Los Dichos Master Guide and Master Calendar 2021 through 2022 for your Los Dichos program dates.
The first Los Dichos lesson. Now, do you remember when Mrs. Smith told you earlier on in the presentation that Los Dichos will be featuring 2 authors and 1 illustrator who are members of our Rocketship Public Schools community? For the first book that is coming up in October, all grade levels will be reading the same book title when you arrive. A children's book about racism. It is written by Germaine and April Gassaway, and it is illustrated by Claire Salstrom. We are proud to celebrate and honor these leaders in education who, in taking part on a global movement to end a long and unfortunate history of systemic racism in our country, published their own book last August 2020. Please note, this lesson, along with our final lesson of the school year, will be translated into 3 languages: English, Spanish, and in Vietnamese. A reminding for lessons between November through April will be made available in English and Spanish only. This timeline will help you to prepare for the roll out of the first Los Dichos lesson, starting Monday, September 27 through Friday, October 8. Principals, OMs, and teachers are encouraged to promote their first Los Dichos lesson via text message, Facebook postings, launch announcements, phone calls, and more to inspire all families to participate in your Los Dichos program. Wednesday, September 29, Mrs. Smith and I will upload the first Los Dichos lesson to the Seesaw District Library and School Leaders Central, making the lesson accessible to the humanities teachers and any additional participating staff for review, and we ask all the teachers read the ebook at minimum to become familiar with the Los Dichos story. Friday, October 8th, humanities teachers and any additional participating staff will assign the first Los Dichos lesson to CISO, giving their Rocketers and families 5 days starting. Saturday, October 9th through Wednesday, October 13th, to watch the read aloud and activity videos, respond to the discussion questions, and complete the activity together at their leisure. Thursday, October 14th, all humanities teachers will take 30 minutes to facilitate a discussion and starting other students complete activities during the humanities block. Between Thursday, October 14th and Thursday, October 28th, humanities teachers and any additional participating staff will record parent hours in the Los Dichos Parent Partnership Tracker to honor the time our families engage in the activity and track progress towards our goals. Humanities teachers and any additional participating staff, please prepare to engage in this same cycle of events for each subsequent reading.
Now for our Los Dichos Master Guide and Master Calendar of 2021-2022. This is the one-stop shop for everything you will need for Los Dichos this year. This guide will have your Los Dichos Master Calendar for the school year, the book titles along with the Dicho of the month, a link to an electronic flyer, which you may use to promote your Los Dichos program, a link to your Los Dichos lesson ready to upload to Seesaw, copies of the read aloud in Google Slide format, copies of the Los Dichos book of the month translated into 3 languages, questions for your classroom discussions, and additional Los Dichos training materials. Principals and office managers, we will make this document accessible to you through School Leader Central. Please may you share it with all of your staff for their reference throughout the school year.
As our presentation draws to close, I do want to address the topic of returning in person this coming March and April. We are excited for the opportunity and want to take care to set our schools and families up for success in this transition. We will closely monitor community health guidelines and school readiness for in-person Los Dichos, and that decision will be announced by the 1st of February 2022. Here are the 3 criteria for successfully returning back in person. Clear communication from schools to families on the health and safety protocols while on campus. Space set aside for Los Dichos lead staff to prepare lesson materials and train families prior to entering the classroom. A hired Los Dichos lead parent for your school site. Lizmate Jordan Blanton and I look forward to partnering with each of the school leaders to address these 3 criteria in preparation of returning to an in-person model successfully.
In closing, we would like to acknowledge all of you for taking the time to join us for this presentation. We are thankful for our partnership through Los Dichos. Lorena and I are committed to maintaining a high-quality family reading program for our rocket ship students, staff, and families. We also appreciate you for prioritizing positive parent partnerships through your Los Dichos program. If you have any questions or feedback, please reach out to your principal and office manager at your school site. Thank you.